Revolution, protest, demonstrations, etc. keep happening in almost every country for different reasons. But when it comes to the Islamic country Iran, the number of protests or the frequency of demonstrations are really massive compared to other countries. 1979 Iranian Revolution is a memorable incident in the world history, after which many more such incidents shook the nation, such as Green Movement and 2009 Iranian Presidential election protest. And now is this Iranian protest that led to many demonstrations, protests, arrests, and death. Around 42,000 Iranians have participated in this protest, while as many as 1,000 demonstrators and protesters have been arrested. As of now, almost 21 demonstrators have been killed, and it also includes 2 security forces. The demonstrators have done many damages in these few days. They have attacked the police stations, judiciary building, etc., and the protest is still on. The demonstrations are still ongoing, and people of Iran have taken to the street to show their grievances. They are not following any traditional hierarchy, nor do they have any leader of this protest, but all of them are chanting the same slogan, which is to bring back the Pahlavi monarchy. They are raising their voice against the current supreme leader Ali Khamenei. So all they want is the deportation of Islamic Republic and reinstatement of the monarchy that was ousted in 1979. The protests have been started on 28th of December in Mashhad, which is the second largest city of Iran by population, and eventually the protests have been spread all over Iran. More than 70 cities and towns in Iran are involved in these demonstrations now, and it is to see what can draw an end to these protests and who will actually rule Iran if Islamic fall in real. Reasons of the protest. The economic policy of the Iranian government was not for the common people, and this is what sparked the Iranians to initiate the protest and demonstrations. This is the main reason that raised anger in the people, and as the demonstration started, the scope too started expanding. Even though economic policy is the main reason of Iranian 2017-2018 protest, later on people expressed their anger against the supreme leader Ali Khamenei and the theoretical regime of Iran. The Iranian government enhanced the food price at a great rate suddenly, and this is what sparked anger among the citizens. They took to the street on 28th of December to initiate the first demonstration. Rouhani's hardline opponent instigated this protest. The protest soon spread out from cities to cities, and this suddenly changed the main motto of the protest. The protesters chanted their voice against the entire ruling party, and the main slogan was that, "Death to the dictator." The main protesters. While all kind of people took part in this Iran protest, but they can be mainly categorized into 2 groups. One is the disaffected millennial and the working poor. The disaffected millennial group are not urban focused, and most of them are under the age of 25. They have good access to education and they belong to the middle class family. They are tech savvy and stay updated with the recent trend. The main reason that led them to this protest is the uncertainty of future prospects. They are hopeless about their future and feel hopeless. Another group is the poor working men. Their fight is for poor labor conditions, lack of labor rights, and unpaid wages. In November 2017, an earthquake in Iran killed almost 600 people, and the poorly built government housing was responsible for that. This incident enhanced anger in public, and this protest is the way to express their anger. Timeline of the protest. 28th December. 28th of December 2017, Thursday, is the day when people of Iran could not resist their anger and broke into the streets. Mashhad is the second populated city in Iran where the protests were started first. People across the street initiated the demonstrations. Eventually, the protest started spreading soon, and Tehran too witnessed the demonstrations on the same day. Tehran is the capital of Iran. Nishabur, Kashmar, Yazd, and Shahrud are the city where protesters were seen across the streets. Their slogan was against the Iranian government, the dictator. So they were all chanting that death to the dictator, death to Rouhani and Islamic Republic. 29th December. The protests and demonstrations became even massive on the next day as well. Protesters kept protesting all through the day, and demonstrators were seen across the road whole day chanting the same slogan. The protests spread to even more cities, which include Avaz, Qom, Rashat, Isfahan, Sari, Sahedan, and Kazvin. Tehran, the capital of Iran, too saw huge protests on the next day, and this led to the arrest of few people there. 30th December. 30th of December is the anniversary of 2009 pro-government rally, and this rally coincided with the Iran 2017-2018 protest. Around 1,200 cities and towns saw this rally to happen, while more than 4,000 people participated in the rally. Anyways, the protest did not take a back seat, rather it kept on going at full-fledged, and protesters in Tehran became more terrible. The students in the Tehran University took part in the protest, and they started chanting the anti-government slogan. They also tore down all the posters of Ali Khamenei. But the Revolutionary Guard started shooting during the night protest in the central Iran, and this made the protesters to escalate. 3 protesters were killed on that day, while many others were injured. 31st December. 31st of December was the 4th day of demonstration. The demonstrations were not lessening by even 1%, rather it was taking different form with each day crossing. While the demonstrations were ongoing on different cities including Tehran, the family members of the arrested people gathered at the Evin prison. This day, around 200 protesters were arrested, while 10 people have been killed during a night slash. The protesters attacked the police station and military bases. Rouhani even stated in the beginning that people have full rights to show their protest, but vandalism and violence should be avoided for better reason. The people of Iran was least bothered about it. 1st to 3rd January. The Iranian could not enjoy the beginning of the year, and the protests and demonstrations continued till then. On the New Year Day, there was no change in the protest, rather its frequency kept increasing day by day. Tehran and all other cities of Iran witnessed the same situation. Moreover, the protest was taken to some another level with the death of one government security forces during the clashes on Monday night. The death of government security forces raised anger among the government, and they got involved in this fight full-fledged. On 2nd of January, total 9 deaths happened, and most of killed people were young Iranians aged below 25 years. 6 people were killed from the protesters when they tried to attack the police station, and 3 were others. Till 2nd of January, more than 500 people were arrested for this protest. Intermittent protests started on 3rd of January, and protests were going on several towns of Iran. The protesters raised their voice against the supreme leader, and they kept shouting that death to the dictator. Muhammad Ali Jafari, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard coup, stated that this is the end of agitation, and he also dispatched a force to the province of several towns of Iran to handle the new sedition. 4th of January to 5th of January. On the 8th and 9th day of the protest, the protesters spread their demonstration on cities such as Desful, Avaz, Sanandaj, Bukhan, Kamyaran, and Rasht. On 4th of January, the IRGC members were seen dismantling an anti-government tower cell in Piransor, a city of Iran. But 3 IRGC members were arrested and killed during this attack. As per the IRGC members, the tower cell is filled with weapons and also government-assigned bomb there to murder numbers of innocent Iranians. Several people came to the support of the protesters, while the UN Human Rights in Iran stated that the people of Iran have full right to express their protest and the government to respect their view, and the internet connection crackdown should be put to an end now. 7th January. However, on 7th of January, the picture of the protest was disappointing as the unrest were defeated, and it is said that Saudi Arabia, Israel, monarchists, and people of Mujahideen is responsible for this unrest. Staged rallies were still there against the government, and numbers of videos showing the burning of government documents circulated everywhere. As per report, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the former president who is the biggest criticizer of the current government, is being arrested and kept under the surveillance of current Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Many other countries, including California, participated in the protests in their own country to show the support for Iranians. The 1979 revolution cheered the Iranians definitely, but they were betrayed as well at the same time by the Islamic Republic, which created anger on the people. The anger was accumulating with days, and finally people expressed the grievances through this 2017-2018 protest.